All right, we're here with the Scary Alvarez podcast. We've almost lasted as long as Gary Anderson at Wisconsin, so we're moving forward. I'm of course Scary Alvarez, the king of Wisconsin Badger Twitter, Wine Allen Enjoyer, Sherry Wine Destroyer, Jake's grandpa, and Cindy's plus one when she'll have me. And very excited to be joined today by uh, two going on three-time academic All Big Ten Badger linebacker Marty Strey. Welcome aboard, Marty.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for having me. Strey,
Absolutely.
by the way. Pronounced
Pardon me?
Strey.
Straw,
Last
yeah,
name, yep.
I'm testing you, man. Just making sure you got it.
I've had to correct plenty of people over the years, but no worries. All good.
Okay, I'm gonna have Joe, my student researcher, Joe Ferguson. He's gonna write that down. We'll go with Marty for now, though.
Perfect.
Cool. Well, we're gonna get into a lot of stuff today, but I always give my guests a chance at the outset before I get my mouth cranking. To tell my audience a little bit about themselves and some kind of preliminary stuff that you think they should know.
Yeah, so I'm a sixth-year senior on the football team, obviously. I'm from Sun Prairie, just east of Madison, so a local kid living out my dream on the Wisconsin football team. And sadly, my time as a Badger is coming to an end. So just trying to enjoy every last minute of it.
Okay, that sounds good, and I'm going to start right off with the big question that I think probably most of my listeners are wondering about. Um, what was it like to play against Madison Memorial's Jake Ferguson in high school when you were with Sun Prairie?
That is a big question, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering. Ferg and I had some battles. Like Sun Prairie and Madison Memorial were and still are kind of two big high school powerhouses, both in football and in basketball. So we had some great times. They got us a couple times, but we also got them. When Ferg was here, he would always let me know. There's a picture I posted on my Instagram a while back of we were playing Madison Memorial at home in basketball, and I had, I'm not the best basketball player in the world by any means, but I had gotten lucky and crossed over one of their guys. And, in the background of the picture, you can see the student section oohing and eyeing at the move or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, here I go. I got a nice, easy left-handed layup. I go up there and I'm mid-air about to lay the ball into the basket. And out of nowhere, Jay Ferg comes and pins my layup off the backboard. And so for my entire time when I was playing with him, he never let me forget that.
That sounds like Jake.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people did. Yeah, a lot of people, Wisconsin fans, didn't know how good Jake was at basketball for the Spartans for I think he was on varsity at least 3 years. And I know if it would have been his dream to play college basketball, he probably could have made that happen in some way too. So I think he made the right choice, frankly, as did you, Marty. But that's good to hear. So your recollection is that Sun Prairie was 2-2 against Memorial in football in the 4 years there. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. Yeah. So sophomore year, we lost to them. Junior year and senior year, we beat them. So
Oh God,
I guess I was 1-1 against Ferg.
Gotcha. It's not going to be like a Jerry Springer show moment where I have like the statistician waiting in the background to show the Memorial Beach your senior year or something. Well, that's good. Those are some fun games. I know Jake had fun playing football for the Spartans. Um, as you no doubt have heard by now, Luke Fickell is the new Wisconsin coach. What have been some of the biggest changes in this year's program since he took over?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of change, but I think a lot of things have stayed the same as well. Like the tradition and the culture of Wisconsin football is strong, right? The foundation has been there, before Coach Christ, and be here after Coach Fickell. So when he came in, I think he shared a very similar vision and outlook as to where he wanted to take the program that Coach Christ had. And so it was easy for guys like myself, guys who are very passionate and care a lot about the program, to buy into his messaging. I think one of the bigger changes was his leadership style and how direct he was in coaching his players, how hands-on he is in practice. I think you've probably heard from other guys how stern he is and direct in his coaching. I think that's who he is. He's an ultimate competitor. It's what he's done his entire life is compete, and it's no different for him as a head coach. And he is extremely passionate about what he does and where he's at, and so he's bought into what Wisconsin is and the tradition behind it. And he's trying to get as many people to follow in his vision and his messaging as possible.
Gotcha. Yeah, that all makes sense. I've heard similar things, and there was a certain segment of the Wisconsin fan base. This is not coming from the players, obviously, who they hear the word air raid or the words air raid, and they see Longo coming in, and they're expecting something where this fall where something was we're going to be passing it 40 times a game or something. And I knew obviously I'm an expert in football, but that was never going to be the way it was, and there was never going to be that big a sea change in the way the approach of the team. And it was I was so well the offense didn't do I think what some fans had expected. The style and some of the ground and pound stuff that we stuck with, that didn't surprise me a bit.
Yeah, I mean that's who Wisconsin is. That's what we're built upon, right? I can't speak a whole lot to the offensive side of the football, but I think there's definitely big things coming.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I think yeah, it's sort of the downside of optimism is when something new happens, you think all this stuff is going to happen immediately. It's going to be perfect, and you're going to go 12-0 your first year and stuff. And I think realistically, this is, as I understand it, Fickell came in with a vision, and it's not a 1 year vision for a program; it's a multi-year vision for a program. So this is just the first year in a longer in a longer plan that Fick's going to be unveiling.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
Gotcha. Um, as a fifth year player in the program, 6 year player, I think you said, you've
Mhm.
obviously seen a lot of things in your time, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. Tell me one or two of your favorite memories as a member of the Badgers, that things that'll stick with you forever.
Oh man, I mean, I think rummaging through 6 years of memories is going to be difficult. I think recency bias has this last weekend is one of my favorite memories ever. I mean, I think beating Minnesota at their place, uh, bringing the Axe back home after a 2 year drought, like that's without a doubt one of the greatest memories I'll have. Um, I mean, I also think the 2019 season, as successful as we were as a team, even though I wasn't contributing as much, being able to learn from the leaders that we had on that team, Chris Orr, the Jack Cones, just seeing what it took to get a Big Ten West title, get to Indianapolis, and then ultimately get to Pasadena. I mean, those are once in a lifetime opportunities and experiences, and something that I'll cherish forever.
Yeah, that was a special season. I was, of course, was there on the Rose Bowl on that fateful New Year's Day in 2020, and I know it didn't go the way that the Badger fans and the team had hoped it would, but I didn't leave the Rose Bowl Stadium thinking that the better team had won that night, despite the fact that Herbert and he did some stuff with his feet that was amazing. I felt like that was just a real tough loss. But what an incredibly looking back with the benefit of hindsight, that 29 team was absolutely stacked. I mean, that was an incredibly talented Badger team.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I think you look defensively, it was one of the better defensive teams that we've had. And I know I've been fortunate to be a part of some incredible defenses in my time here. And then on the offensive side of the ball, the talent that you're seeing now at the next level, like you said, with the benefit of hindsight bias, it's incredible.
Yeah. Before the season started, with when some of the fans' expectations were sky high, I remember saying it. I'm not sure if it was in a podcast, maybe with Locked On, and I said that the game I was most looking forward to in the 2023 season was the Minnesota Gopher game. And I know some fans were a little bit like, "What are you talking about?" But I knew how important it was. No matter what happened the rest of the year, there were a lot of ups and downs this season to go into Minneapolis and be chopping down a goalpost with that X. And I know you just touched on a second ago, but try and give a sense for the casual Badger fan how important that is to win the X game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's immensely important. I think for the program and the team uh, to have that sense of bragging rights in a way is extremely important. And obviously, that's a goal that we set out for ourselves months ago, almost since this past season, was to win the Axe. And obviously, as a senior class, that's something that is very important to us as well. So, but I mean, from the fans' perspective too, I'm a Badger through and through, but I was a Badger fan well before I was here, and I'll be a Badger fan for the rest of my life. Like the satisfaction in beating Minnesota and having those bragging rights over the team, that border battle, like that's something you can't take away for 365 days. So it's very important for the program, for the fan base, for everybody involved.
Yeah, I agree, and I do think as important as winning the X is, and I know Coach Fick was very happy to do that. I do think it's healthy to draw the line at sleeping with the X for the head coach. I know there's some reports that I think PJ Fleck even said himself that he was taking it to bed with to his marital bedroom with him and his wife, and I do think that's a very you don't have to comment on this, but I just kind of as an ex coach here, that was an odd move, and I think it's great to have that X in a better, safer place right now, more sanitized place than the PJ Fleck's bedroom. Just some
Yeah,
weird stuff, buddy.
yeah. I can't comment on that, but what I can comment on is that we're happy to have it back in our locker room in the trophy case where it belongs, and where it can be viewed by those who have put in the time and effort to bring it back home. So
Good stuff. I know that you were recruited, and as I believe one of these schools actually recruited Jonathan Taylor too, but you were recruited by both Cornell and Harvard Ivy League schools. What was it like for you to choose a superior academic school in Wisconsin?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, my recruiting story is unique in the sense that I wasn't highly recruited, and my dream ultimately was to always play for Wisconsin. It's been that way since a little kid. But as I'm going through the recruiting process, you have to be realistic, and I wasn't hearing a lot from Wisconsin or other Big Ten schools, and so I decided to pursue potential Ivy League routes. And so I was in contact with Cornell and Harvard, Princeton, Penn. But at the end of the day, like you said, I chose the superior academic school, and now I'm leaving with 2 undergraduate degrees, a certificate, and a master's. So,
well, congratulations on that. And what's the next step for you after your grad school time is done at Wisconsin?
yeah, I wish I could tell you. I'm still in the process of sorting all that out. So,
Okay. Well, I have a number of wine islands that I own. You probably have learned that if you follow the account, and so there are a lot of business dealings and things like that. So just off camera, you can just give me a shout out, and we'll see if we can hook something up.
oh, for sure, we'll stay in contact. I have no doubt about it.
Game knows game. We take care of ourselves.
Right.
Who's your favorite ex-Badger football player?
Ooh. I would say, I mean, I grew up, when my prime Badger fandom was 2008 to 2012. Like that's when I was like a kid, just idolized by Badgers football, and obviously went to 3 straight Big Ten championships, 3 straight Rose Bowls during that period. But I'd say my favorite Badger growing up was Chris Borland. I just thought he was a ferocious linebacker, a tremendous leader. And, I've had the fortune of being around him now. He's pretty involved in some of the things that happen on campus and the football program and whatnot. And he's just an amazing individual who does some fantastic work.
Yeah, Borland's great, and Borland has guts in the sense of, as you well know, cutting his own football career short because there were some things he believed strongly in, and he wanted to be an agent of education, and making a decision for his life, not for the 49er fans' life. I think that takes some intestinal fortitude to do the best for you rather than doing what everyone expects you to do, which was be a 10-year linebacker for the Niners. That was refreshing to see. There's a different route for other people. In playing 10 years, like Jake, I presume will play 10 years in the league. That's his route. Chris's route was different. And to have the guts to do it the way he did was inspiring, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think having the amount of self-confidence and self-belief in who you are as a person to make that kind of decision is it's very important.
And I will say, Borland made a lot of incredible plays in his time at Wisconsin, but probably one of the most memorable was it, as you probably remember as a youngster watching the Big Ten championship game against Nebraska, was a kind of a WWE body slam of Taylor Martinez. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it wasn't a cheap, but it was just a different time. And Martinez was okay. It wasn't a headshot or anything, but it just was a statement play for a kid who just by all accounts was running on 100 out of 100 all the time. and just really, really impactful kind of player.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, he was all over the field. That's for sure.
So, who's the funniest guy on the football team
Oh man.
besides yourself? I don't want. People can't pick themselves. I know I had the Ruchis on. They both would have said each other, and obviously you got a safety plan there, and Hunter Waller, who's just could just jump on the Vegas comedy circuit tomorrow if he wanted to. But who are the other funny guys in that locker room?
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's a group of four guys in particular who just have amazing personalities, and when you're around all four of them together, they will just keep you laughing. And that's Daryl Peterson, Rico Hallman, Quincy Burrows, and Will Pauling. The four of those guys are just hysterical, constantly cracking jokes and poking fun at each other, and like I said, they just have incredible personalities.
That's good to hear. It's good to hear the tradition of hilarity in the locker room didn't leave with Jake. It's good to see that the next generation of young comic badgers is flourishing. Um, you might have heard that I squatted 900 pounds at Squat Fest earlier this year. How much did you do?
Only 900? I
Yeah,
thought you would have been
it was a
heavier.
bad. It was honestly, it was kind of an upper body day, and I still did it. But I always ask my guests. I'm just trying to get it compare and contrast. Was it over that or was it similar?
It was similar, give or take a few pounds. Probably not quite as strong as you, but I'm getting there.
It's okay. Look, man, that's a really high bar, and I don't want to make anyone feel badly that they're not squatting as much as the Dawn. I say I do a 4-4-4, so that it kind of evens up with a lot of other people. But yeah, it's really, really that was a fun one. And I'm not people say I'm bragging like I need to do for my ego. My ego is okay. I don't need a squat fest 900-pound thing to work. Okay, we're gonna let you off here in a couple minutes. Gonna do a quick word association game and ask you what immediately comes to your mind when I say the following names or things. Coach Mike Trussell.
Coach Tress is a brilliant defensive mind. He's been great to work with this season, and I've learned a lot from him and from Coach Mitchell and Coach Fick. The whole defensive staff has been great. Obviously, been a big change for me in particular, just having the same position coach my entire time here, same defensive coordinator, and then obviously a big change with Coach Tress and this crew coming in. But uh, it's been a healthy change. I think it's been good to learn from them, and I think they've got a good spot going forward.
Yeah, I agree too. And this is sort of a trivia thing, and obviously every season is different than every previous season. But 2023 had a lower points per game allowed than 2022. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't know that, wouldn't think that. So I know there's been some changes and some bumps here and there on the road, but I think that Trust has it on a good course. Braelon Allen.
I think a lot of times when you see an athlete, you think of them for mostly just an athlete. And Braylon is a phenomenal football player, but I think what a lot of people don't know is that he's also a great person. And him, like myself, being a Wisconsin kid, living out his dream here, I know this is a place that he's very passionate about. I wish him nothing but the best, the next level. He's a phenomenal person and a very proud Wisconsinite.
Yeah, it's been fun to see that, and there are some kids that are just a little bit easier to root for than the average kid, and Braylon is certainly one of them. And obviously,
Mhm.
selfishly, I know Scott. It would be great to have him back in the backfield in 2024. But the reality is, this is the right time for him, and it's so exciting to see him get to live his NFL dream after having 3 years playing for the team he grew up loving. It's just storybook might not be the right word for it because there's some ups and downs, but I just know he's probably feels tremendous satisfaction at the time he's had in Madison, and I couldn't be more excited for him to hit the NFL.
Absolutely.
Uh, we covered Jake Ferguson. Usually I put Jake Ferguson in here, but I think we talked enough about your high school rivalry. We can move on to another one. But the 2024 Wisconsin Badgers.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for what the boys have in store. I think there's some great guys who will be coming back. Obviously, I don't want to overlook that we've got one more game, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. I don't want to wish away my time too soon, but I think you look at the just the conference realignment and the schedule that's coming in the next season. That there's a lot of good football that's going to be played, and so the expectations will be high again as they should be, and the boys will be working all off season ready to go.
Yeah, tremendously exciting schedule with Alabama coming to Canberra. It's going to be a challenge, but what a fun time. Um, so we're going to let you off here. I really appreciate it. I want you to kind of give you the floor for a last word to kind of sign off. I know you have one. Well, let me back up real quick. Bowl game. Uh, I've heard some different possibilities. If you had your druthers of those possible bowl games, would it be New York City, Nashville? What would be your? I know you're going to say anywhere, but what is there anything you got your heart set on?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there isn't one particular place. Preferably somewhere warm would be nice, but I've been lucky to have gone to 5 different bowl games. I've been to New York, LA for the Rose Bowl, Vegas, guaranteed rate bowl down in Phoenix last year, and then obviously during COVID we went to Charlotte. So I've been to a lot of great places, and I'm really fortunate, really thankful for all of my time here. And I'm just hopeful that we can go to a great bowl against a great opponent and get the job done one last time with all the boys.
It'll be fun and definitely, as always, we'll hold on to that trophy after in the locker room after
No kidding.
the yeah, that was actually pretty fun though. I know Graham probably looks on that with some fondness. All right, well, I'm going to give the floor to you just to kind of to sign off to the Badger fans that have been following you in the program since you've been here, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, I just appreciate you having me. And I told you before we started that I've been following you on Twitter for quite some time, and I think what really separates you, and which I appreciate as a Badger athlete, is your positivity and your optimism on the platform. I think that in the world of armchair quarterbacks and people who think they always have all the answers, it's kind of refreshing to see just some supporters through the ups and the downs, right? Not making these crazy assumptions and predictions and thinking they have all the answers. Sometimes it's just good to be a supporter regardless. And obviously being critical is good. It's healthy because it means you have people who are passionate and care. But I think that's just one thing that separates you. And I think that's appreciated by a lot of people. So,
Well, I appreciate that too, and I appreciate your hard work and dedication to the program, Marty. And I wish you all the best in the future, wherever life takes you. I know you're going to be a Badger forever, but thanks for jumping on, and have a great bowl practice preparation. And wherever y'all end up, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in that bowl game.
yep, absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, talk soon. Bye bye.
Bye.